everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Migrant Hope channel. This is a very exciting video. As you can see, we have a guest. This is Lisa. So yes, welcome. And also, if you have not subscribed to the Migrant Hope, please make sure you do. The content has been great. I'm back on the internet now, so you have no I know exactly. You have no reason why you should not be subscribed, so make sure that you do. And without further ado, we have a great topic which you can already see from the description, so let's get into the video. So Lisa, can you introduce yourself so we can just get into the meat of this video?
Hello everyone, I'm Lisa.
Anything else?
Yes.
Lisa, where do you live?
I'm Lisa. I live in Atlanta. I'm from South Sudan. I grew up in Minneapolis and I've been living in Atlanta for about 8 years.
Period. And what is something about yourself that people actually don't know?
I'm a flight attendant. I don't talk to people that way.
Interesting. So before we get into the meat of the video, I have a question for Lisa, and she may or may not know what it is.
Here we go.
So the first thing is, how do we know each other? And like, more importantly, what was your first impression of me? That's what I want to know.
We met through our good friend Charles.
Shout out to you, Charles.
And you ended up helping me cook for our No Food No Entry event we do every year. And I actually had a good impression of you.
Really?
Because I was like, this babe doesn't know us, and now she's cooking platters of chicken. And you were very sweet in texting me. Like it was a nice, seamless process.
All right, so we're going to get into the details of everything. Can you just share with us just a little bit how you kind of became a flight attendant, or how you decided that was something you wanted to do?
It all kind of honestly happened on accident. I know that's going to sound really annoying because I know it's really hard to become a flight attendant. No, it was never my dream job, but it just kind of happened on accident. I've been doing it for 4 years now.
But do you like traveling?
I love traveling.
Did that influence your decision?
Yeah, that was definitely that's definitely what influenced it, of course, because I'm like, okay, I get to, I was like 20 or 21 I think when I applied. How old was I? Maybe I was older than that. I don't know, but I was young. And it was just like, okay, something I can do,
Yeah, and of course, you mentioned that you like traveling and stuff. Okay, and you being a flight attendant, did that actually influence you to decide to purchase a home or not?
I think it made me realize that I could do it. Yeah.
Based off of like the income, or?
Yeah, based off of the income and like, talking to fellow flight attendants, like once they hit 3 years of flying, that's kind of like, I don't want to say it's a thing, but a lot of flight attendants purchase homes after 3 years of flying. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I feel like, see, you need to become a flight attendant. Oh, that's actually really good.
The pay, I wouldn't say it goes up crazy at 3 years, but like, that's when I started feeling like, okay, money's making sense a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like one thing that I even just learned from this is just being around the right set of people, because not that you cannot purchase a home if you're not around people who are not necessarily flight attendants, but I think being your surrounding and your environment is very important.
Yeah.
So I know you just shared with us that there were other people at your job and people that you interacted with on a daily basis who bought homes or who were in the home buying process. But what was like the triggering point for you where you said, you know what, I'm definitely going to do this, I'm going to work on this?
Rent. Number one was rent. Like, I had 2 roommates and it was fantastic, but I knew that, like, of course everyone's gonna want to go through their own thing and move into their own place, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay $1,800 for rent. It just didn't add up to me. So rent was number 1. And 2, I did want to get into investing, and I was just trying to figure out what I could do, like what I could actually take time and put my money into, like that I be able to see, if that makes sense. So like a home for me was like, okay, I can actually take time to save, and I can actually purchase this thing, and I can physically see it, touch it. That was important for me to have something like that. So
yeah, okay, that makes sense. But then I see, because you mentioned you were living with people and stuff, and then like the rent, was it like, okay, if you go and get a 1-bedroom, you would have to pay about 1,800 for that?
Yeah, for the type of 1-bedrooms I would like. So
this girl is bullshit.
I mean,
yeah. But that's true though, and I feel like, you know, coming from New York, especially, you know, when I moved here, like, for me, renting sometimes, not to say, you know, because I'm very against the idea that everybody needs to buy a home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
yeah,
if it's not
for
by
you, four.
Exactly. And some people don't even want it. And if you do the numbers sometimes, it doesn't even make
it doesn't
sense.
add up.
Yeah, for every single person. But I think for me, I was just like same in your boat, you know, not wanting to spend so much money on rent, and you want to stay in a nice place, which, you know, but you don't want to pay an arm and a leg for it,
right?
Yeah.
And also, like, just the opportunity to like house hack if need be, like knowing that like now I could, you know, be the landlord, like you know, I could be the one to rent out rooms to people, like that gave me a sense of financial security.
Okay, so now, you know, you kind of went through, okay, surrounded yourself with the right people, you decided that you want to purchase a home because of the rent prices were high, or were going to be high if you were going to actually rent. Now, how did you prioritize that you know what, I'm going to do this? So what did you do? Did you have to like change your mindset towards money?
And I think for me, I had to believe I could. I remember I was talking to a friend, you know who you are, right, Jessica? I was talking to her, I was like, dang, I really want to buy a house next year. She was like, so do it. I was like, I don't know. And she was like, I mean, if you want to do it, just do it. And like within the year, I bought my home. So it took like just believing in myself, number one, believing I could do whatever I want to do. And then creating a budget. Like your money has to make sense. Like before I bought a home, it was like I would prioritize my nails, my lashes, everything I needed, like beauty wise, I would prioritize all of that and then pay my bills, and that would be about it. So like creating a budget and like really like seeing on paper what all my money was going to was really important for me.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And this is something which in the video that came out last week, or in a couple of weeks ago now, right, was about understanding your finances. Something which I'm hearing from Lisa was just, as she mentioned, you know, the money has to make sense. I think even just telling yourself that you have the ability to be able to do it, and setting that goal for yourself, like I think that that's very admirable. Guys, we're feeling good. We have something to drink.
Get some margaritas.
The next question I have for you, Lisa, is being a flight attendant, right? You can think that, I think the general consensus is like, although you have your home base, you're kind of all over the place. So did that affect your decision to buy a home?
Well, once I did decide to buy a home, I wasn't senior at all, but I guess I learned how to manipulate my schedule more. I feel like I'm home all the time. I feel like you guys always see me. Like I just try to work 1-day trips. I like to wake up in my own bed. So I try to work 1-day trips or 2-day trips. So I would say I'm off and home for about 3 days out the week. And then I might go to work and just come back the same day for 4 days out the week. So it's like I'm working a regular job at this point.
So at the end of the day, you're still spending time in your home.
Yes, I spend a lot of time at home.
Do you think you're spending more time in your home now that you have a house versus like, would you have just been like working more if you had like a shared space?
Yeah, definitely. I think I work harder to make sure I'm home more now that I have my own home and I live alone. Not that it was a problem like when I lived with people, not that I didn't want to be around them, but like it was like, you know, like I might as well go see something new while I'm at work. So I was more motivated to work those trips where I was gone all the time.
So the next segment is, how did you structure your finances? Maybe a lot of our generation people have a lot of debt. So did you have any debt?
Oh my God. I was in debt.
How did you
I was in debt. Like I was in collections, multiple collections.
For real? I
swear on everything. Honestly, I can't remember it now. It was probably like, I probably have 4 collections accounts, maybe 5. I think 4 is even little. I was in collections. Wow. So
please share with the people.
So listen, pay your debt off. I know everybody likes to be like, oh, and you don't have to pay it off and ask for deletion. Pay off your debt. So I was in debt, and that's why I'm saying like it's something that anybody can do, because I was in debt. That's the first thing I did was, of course, I had to pay off all my debt. So I called all these banks and was like, okay, well, like what can we do? And it all worked out. So I ended up working hard and paying them all off.
Okay.
So that
How long did it take you? from when you decided, okay, I'm gonna purchase a home, to paying off all of your debt? Like approximately months.
Paying off my debt, probably about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Of like really like sitting down and like looking at my debt.
So were you under contract at that point, or this is before?
Oh no, this is way. That's the thing. I did all of that way before I even talked to a bank or a realtor, because I'm like, nobody's gonna take me serious.
Okay.
All this debt I have. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think even, sorry to interrupt you, right?
Okay.
From just this point, I think maybe we'll do a second video just about like the pre-work to get to the, before you get to the nitty-gritty, so that way, like, you know, if you have any sort of like debt or anything, you know, financial that may have any negative impact on you purchasing a home,
right,
so that gets squared away before. Do you do any modifications to your budget also, which you had to mention?
Yes. So I gave every dollar that I made a job, and then I also, like, you know, did promo work on the side to where I was like making sure I had more income coming in. But I gave every dollar in my account a job, to where I would give myself only $100 for spending a week. So I would pay all my bills, I would put majority of the rest in savings, and I would give myself $100. So
a week. Okay, so no, total month you have about $400 to spend
on
like anything.
Yeah.
Okay, and that,
but once that's out, it's out. So you better be smart about how you're spending.
Do you now decide on the realtor you are going to use? Because I love our realtor.
I love her too. She's fantastic. Honestly, I was trying to go with another realtor, and I just didn't hear back from her. So I was like, I guess. And I was working with a flight attendant, and she recommended her realtor to me. And I mean, she made the process so easy. It's really important to have a good realtor in your home buying process, because it's so stressful. I mean, she just had so much knowledge outside of helping me find a home, to where like it was just easy. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is take time to find a good realtor.
Yeah,
and don't rush, because sometimes you may be so eager to buy a home, but you go with somebody who, one, may not even have the knowledge, and two, you mentioned you were trying to go with somebody else, and they will not pick up their phone. Was this person or people?
I don't want to. We don't have to talk about.
People need to pick up your phone and act right in business. Like, I'm not, you know, we're not calling out anybody, but we need to hold each other accountable. See, we'll give you our money, but do your work, please. Pick up the phone when we call.
Because like, I'm not calling you to ask you for money.
No.
Like, I'm calling you because, I'm trying to give you some